Hey guys, it's Lance. I want to do a quick video for y'all today on the Sharpmaker. I hope it's going to be quick. I'm going to try and keep it under, well, we'll see how quick I can do it. I hear a lot of questions about on the forums about a couple of things about the Sharpmaker, so I want to answer those. And basically, this is not a how to use the Sharpmaker video. This is just going to be a couple of tips and tricks for you guys who are already using this tool. I use this machine a lot. Tool, and I get good results. So I think that what I'm going to show here are techniques worth looking at. If they work for you, great. If they don't, throw them out and move on. No worries. The first thing I want to talk about is what I actually use this for, and 90% of my use with the Sharpmaker is micro beveling. So if I typically will have a edge bevel set at 30 degrees, and I will use the 40-degree setting, and once every day or two I just take my knife and I make 3 or 4, 5, 6, 10, whatever quick passes, and I've got a screaming sharp edge. And it really doesn't take much. I mean, yeah. So that's what this tool excels at. I keep it set up in the kitchen, 5 or 6 passes every couple of days, and I've always got a scalpel sharp knife. What it's not quite as good at is when this micro bevel gets too invasive on the edge bevel, of bringing that edge back to 30 degrees, or reprofiling, as we call it. For there, you want to switch your rods and go over to the 30-degree setting, and you're going to need another tool, which is the separately sold diamond rods, or the CBN rods. I'm just using the mediums to illustrate what I'm doing. So once you got the 30-degree setting, you can reprofile with this tool. A lot of people on the forums, if you read a lot, you'll hear people say, you can't reprofile with this, it's too slow. I don't believe that to be true. I believe if you were to sit here, and by the way, my knife angles are correct. The camera shows a lot of distortion, so it makes it look like it's not, but it is. Trust me, I'm holding the knife correctly. If you were to sit here reprofiling and do this for 10,000 passes, yes, it would be very slow. You might be there for hours. What I suggest is put your diamond rods in at 30 degrees, take your knife, get your angle set, and then you want to use like a circular up and down motion. And man, you can go fast on this, and you can remove a lot of metal. It's still, because of the width of the Sharpmaker rod, it's not going to be as quick as a wider bench stone, but you can be surprised. You can use the knife a while, reprofile it to 30 degrees in 15, 20 minutes. So it is a very functional tool for that, but get your technique right. Up and down, and I use a little bit of a circular motion with that. Okay, and when you get to the tip, just don't let the tip leave the edge. Just don't drag it off the edge of the rod, because you'll round your tip off. So just be careful. And I typically sharpen the last 3/8 of an inch of the tip all at one time. I kind of use that as a separate section because it's easy to keep just that small amount on the stone as I sharpen. Okay, and then whatever, you get over here and you do the same thing on the other side and form a burr on both sides and clean the burr off and go back to 40 and start micro beveling again. That simple. Now, the next question that I hear on the forums a lot, actually there's a thread about it right now, and it's about how to keep the edge of the knife properly engaged with the flats of the stone. Now this is going to be hard to illustrate on here because of this camera distortion, but if you were to come down with the knife and you don't tilt anything, you get to right before it comes off, and what you'll notice is, let me see if I can illustrate this, it's going to be hard to do, is you get to this point right here, and your blade is not really engaged with the whole flat of the stone. It's only engaged with this corner over here. So guys are trying to compensate for that, and some people, what they'll do is as they get to the end of the stroke, they will bring the handle of the knife inward. Now, theoretically, no, not theoretically, actually, that can match let's say the 30 degree we're at now. That can match that 30 degree bevel. Actually, we're at 40, but it doesn't matter. That can, if you tilt it just right, you can get it to match that bevel, but my God, you've got this angle going on, you've got this angle going on. So getting everything to match up where you're hitting this right as you're completing a stroke and having to angle it in, it's more difficult than freehand sharpening. It makes no sense. It doesn't to me anyway. If it works for you, go for it. In my opinion, my not so humble opinion, the correct way to do this is as you're bringing the knife down and as you start to get to the belly, you just want to either lower the tip or raise the handle. And that way at the finish of the stroke, the knife is like so. And this edge is fully engaged with the flat. You don't have to change anything about this angle. All you have to do is raise the handle as you finish the stroke. And the idea behind that is when you start the stroke, you always want to keep the cutting edge perpendicular to the Sharpmaker rod, because that's what's giving you that 15-degree angle. Well, as you get here, if you don't tilt the knife, look what starts to happen. Now you can see. You start to come off of the flat. So instead of tilting the knife in like this, what you want to do is just bring the handle up. And always keep that cutting edge perpendicular to the stone. As long as you keep that perpendicular to the stone, as long as you keep the knife oriented, vertically, correct like that, you will be fully engaged. And with knives that have a bigger belly, like the Bowie or the Bradley Bowie or the old K2, you just have to bring the knife up that much higher in order to keep that edge right there perpendicular to the stone. So that's the way to do that. That's the way I do it. And of course, anyway, if you do it different and it works, good for you. But to me, that's the only logical way to do that with this machine, I keep calling it a machine, with this tool, and to keep the simplicity of what's here, because what's here is a set angle in relation to the angle of the knife. So as soon as you start adding in new angles, you're losing the simplicity of what you're doing, So, and yeah, okay, you do have to add a new angle to raise the handle, but you're still keeping this angle consistent, which is that perpendicular to the stone angle. Make sense? I hope so. See the difference between this? Well, I kind of missed it there. See how that's staying engaged with the flat? Watch if I come straight down. Watch what happens. That didn't work, does it? Okay. Anyway, that's enough about that. That's my two little tricks. I don't have much else. All I'll say is some people ask sometimes about getting a hair whittling edge. And you know what? We'll leave that for another video. That's, good Lord, that's 8 minutes. That's enough of my nonsense. Hope that works for somebody. Over and out.